his way back and did some nice things there at the end of the game. So just like all these guys, you just, as they grow, earn more reps and, they carve out a role, and we'll see what happens and see if it grows from there. But you take it week to week and see how it fits into a game plan. And so, but it was good to see him back out there.
And let me ask you one on the O-line. Obviously, you're not concerned about who makes the Pro Bowl, who doesn't. You do have a group that's blocked for the NFL's leading rusher, an offense that's at the top of the league. Do you feel like you got an underrated group on the O-line, and how have you liked what you've seen from them through 14 weeks, and you've had working with a number of combinations?
Well, I don't get caught up in the Pro Bowl, and I'm not going to answer that kind of loaded question one way or the other. But what I can say is I do appreciate our line and their mentality, and Keith and Sully and Chandler do a great job with those guys, and they have the right mindset. They come to work, and they're a fun group to coach, and they take a lot of pride in what they do.
Paul?
Merry Christmas, Art. I know
Christmas.
durability is a huge Derek feature, but traditionally running backs who get this kind of workload over this course of time get dented, and a big target like that takes a lot of hits and shows some wear and tear. What's it like to watch Derek not get to that point? And do you ever see maybe behind the scenes hints that of what it takes to recover?
Well, I think, Derek is an outlier. And what I mean by that is, he's different than a lot of guys. I think Derek does a great job of taking care of himself. I know he likes to post about his workouts on Instagram so everybody sees it. But in all seriousness, he does a phenomenal job keeping himself in shape. And, the last couple of years, or even when he was in high school and in Alabama, he's been very durable, and he, as the season goes on, he seems to get stronger. So hopefully that trend continues.
Buck?
What's going on, Coach? Merry Christmas.
Hey, Merry Christmas.
With Za'Darius Smith, the past 2 years that they've had him, how much of a fit has he been in that scheme, and how effective has he been since he's been a Packer?
Well, I mean, he's definitely an impact player. To answer your question about how big of an impact, I mean, those probably Mike Pettin could probably answer it better than I can. I can just tell you what I've seen on the film, and they got a lot of good players. Preston Smith is a challenge over there as well, but Za'Darius is a really good player. So we're going to have to know where he's at, and we're going to have to account for him.
And then a different kind of question for you, given your history as a tight ends coach and as assistant coach with that position, how much have you seen it kind of evolve from obviously always being a versatile position, but just how much better and more athletic you've seen tight ends get across the league just in general?
Well, I think like a lot of things evolved. I think when you see the guys coming from the college game, I think on both sides of the ball, you get a lot of guys that are, the traditional molds from the past as the game's evolved, and, some of these defensive players that are kind of positionless, excuse me. And the same thing offensively, you get a lot of guys that, a lot of these college offenses are so spread out. It's like, where do you put them? Is it big receivers or is it tight end? The same thing with some of these running backs that can play multiple spots. So I just think it's the way the game's gone. And as it filters up from high school to college, you get a lot of guys with multiple skill sets where it's not just kind of fixed certain slots. That's just the way I see it, though.
Thank you.
John?
Hey, Arthur. I was going to follow up on Darrington also. We've seen a couple small sample sizes for him, once early and once here last game. What made his impact seemingly, that much bigger in the last game? Some things seem to stand out. Why do you think that was?
Well, Minnesota, it was his first game, and then Buffalo, he really didn't play much, and he had a run, and then unfortunately he hurt his hamstring. So this is really the third game we've had him up, and just the way the game went, he got into a rhythm. So that was good to see.
Sure, and I know Ryan Tannehill described him sort of as a good counterpunch to Derek. What's that like? What do you see from defenses when they're used to, the bigger bruising back like a Henry, and then they get the more of the speed against them like Darrington?
Well, we just, to answer that question, I mean, that's a lot of like conventional wisdom, certain things, but Darrington's his own player. I mean, he's different. I think a lot of people say, all right, you got this type back and you got this type, but we got a lot of guys that can change things up. So, it's hopefully Darrington continues to carve out a role, and we'll just see where it goes.
Thank you.
Jim?
Arthur, they get a lot of attention, obviously, for their offense. Their defense is ranked in the top 10 as well. When you kind of prepare for them, what are some of the things that they're doing really well?
Well, it's a fast defense. They got a lot of good players over there. It's a good scheme. They do a nice job. They get off the field and they fly around. So it's going to be definitely a heck of a challenge for us, but it's a really good defense.
And one on Logan, obviously, hadn't played extensively, but he has gotten in at the end of some games for series here or there. Is that beneficial to him? And what are you seeing from him on the practice field? For people don't get to see him in games. What are you seeing from him on the practice field that leads you to believe he's getting better?
Well, he's just put the work in. He's done a great job all season. He prepares hard. He's attached himself to Ryan, and he's been a lot of fun to work with. And it's good to see him. When we've been fortunate to get in those situations where he's gotten to go in there and some of the 4-minute stuff, obviously other than the first Indy game when he went in there, but it's a nice job.
All right, Coach. I think that's all the questions. Appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, George. Thank you.